Welcome to Inside the Program on the Inside Texas Football YouTube channel, powered by InsideTexas.com. I'm Joe Cook, got Eric Naleen. It's another Friday. It means we get to talk about some of the insider team notes you'll find in detail on Inside Texas. But we got some tidbits and some information we'll share here as well. Obviously, Texas has an opening on the defensive staff, and that room and the talent within it has made that position opening a very attractive one for coaches. We'll also talk about who some of the fastest Longhorns are in off-season workouts, go over some intel on Justus Terry, who's working hard in the weight room, and then we'll put a little burnt orange spin on the Super Bowl between the Eagles and the Chiefs. But Eric, obviously the news of the week is that Blake Gideon left Texas, his alma mater, from a role as a position coach to go be the defensive coordinator in Atlanta. Certainly wish him well, a good step up for his career. And the room that he's leaving behind features guys like Michael Taft, Jelani McDonald, Xavier Filsaime, Derek Williams, and that makes whoever is going to be that creates a good situation for whoever's going to be the next safeties coach.
Yeah, well, first of all, he's leaving Texas, but he's leaving Texas much better than he found it. Very similar to Jeff Choate, leaving linebackers for Johnny Nansen, the coach, and really leaving him in a good place. Blake Gideon's doing that for the next guy for sure. You know, we cut Gideon a lot of slack on Inside Texas because safety room was truly the last room that got addressed properly during the roster overhaul. He wasn't left the abundance of talent that Bo Davis was, and it wasn't prioritized like offensive line was or wide receiver. So he was having to make do with a lot of guys that were, maybe lacking in talent. That also, of course, made it easier for Michael Taft to get involved because he actually was talented. But he had the toughest road out of any coach when it came to talent in his room. So he's leaving it a lot better. I think that their phone is ringing off the hook right now. We've only heard of one credible name that we know of is for sure in the mix. We know that they're looking at a number of guys. We just don't have those names. They're not necessarily in a hurry, but we don't expect it to play out too long either. But it's because that room is so attractive. You've got second team AP All-American Michael Taft returning. He's going to help your transition. Taft is going to help him probably as much as he's going to help Taft in the early going as far as understanding what they do, certain checks and those things. Also the raw talent. Taft is talented, but Jelani McDonald that's a different type of dude back there. You've got Derek Williams. Everybody's pretty optimistic about him coming back healthy. Then you've got the young bucks, Jordan Johnson-Rebel, Xavier Filsaime. And then, Zealous Hicks is earning a lot of praise already. I heard his name again last night. And then you've got perhaps the ultimate difference maker in Jonah Williams. So who wouldn't want to coach that room with what everything else Texas has going on? And then on top of it, you've got a pass rush. A pass rush is going to make a DB coach's life that much easier.
Make sure to go to Inside Texas for more intel on that name that we're hearing. A lot of connections to Pete Kwiatkowski.
Oh, we could talk about Will Harris. I mean, that's not a problem. Will Harris is a DB coach at Florida. He's well respected. He's already well liked in Gainesville. I think he's only been there 1 year. Already one of their top recruiters, probably their second best recruiter on that staff behind Jabbar Jalouk. The most notable thing on his resume was the time spent at UW with PK. For a long time, in PK's first couple of years at Texas, we often mentioned that the difficulty on defense was harmonizing the front and the back end. It was kind of discombobulated. The defensive line would be doing one thing, and the secondary wasn't getting their fits behind it. That seemed to be figured out this past year. Maybe Johnny Nansen helped, so maybe that's not quite the consideration it once was. But he's got a tremendous track record. You're going to watch Trent McDuffie tomorrow on Sunday make a lot of plays. That's a Will Harris guy. He's got an excellent track record. So if it ends up being him, it's going to be a seamless fit as far as PK goes. Of course, he's going to have to get on the same page with Terry Joseph, who is the passing game coordinator. But also he's got a room to work with, proven track record, proven recruiter. He makes a lot of sense, but we'll see what other names pop up.
Should be fun to track. Let's go over to some stuff that's going on, obviously, in the program right now. Not a ton as far as football goes. You mentioned that they're mostly just kind of watching film, learning how to watch film at this juncture, but they are in the weight room. They are doing workouts, and there are some guys who have showed a good amount of speed during sessions where they're all running together.
Yeah, this is the kind of year where we kind of just do some lists. A couple of weeks ago we did toughest Longhorns. This is a good time to go over fastest Longhorns because they just started doing their miles per hour testing. Jamie French was the fastest guy this week. Now, that's not going to hold long term. Long term, it's going to be Ryan Niblett. This is the time of year, and if you look at track times, if you follow track in high school, the times are a lot slower this time of year. A lot of guys are coming back from football. They're not properly warmed up, so to say. So these guys are going to get faster. But Jamie French was right there, high 21s this week as the fastest Longhorn. DeAndre Moore was right behind him. And Kalik Lockett was not too far behind. Kalik got an unfair shake. I think everybody, got caught up in Kalik's ball skills and route running and forgot to realize that he's just playing fast too. But fastest Longhorns are going to be Ryan Niblett, Aaron Butler. Keep hearing great things about him. Wouldn't be surprised if he features on special teams. DeAndre Moore has been a staple at the fastest Longhorns list, even when Xavier Worthy was there, even when Isaiah Bond was there and Silas Bolden. DeAndre Moore is just a staple with the fastest Longhorns. Parker Livingstone mentioned again. When we did this list, the source says, you got to have Parker Livingstone in the top 5 no matter what. So he's in there. Ryan Wingo, of course, ran 10.5 in high school. That's no surprise. And we're going to slot French and Lockett behind him. I'm not sure exactly where they're going to fit long term. But obviously good returns on what we heard about with French. And you should just know that Texas is not going to take any slow wide receivers. So, that's, Parker Livingstone's speed always checked out. He ran 21.69 as a sophomore. That probably would have been 21.3 as a senior. French looked fast on tape. Looks kind of like Ryan Wingo to me. And then Lockett, he's got that long stride. Those guys with a long stride always get a unfair shake, I think. But he's plenty fast and a good route runner. So, there's, you lose Isaiah Bond and Matthew Golden and Silas Bolden, but there's still plenty of speed at receiver.
The thing that stands out to me about that list, you've got guys at basically every receiver role. So it's not just one spot that's got the speed demon and the others are doing utilizing other skill sets. There's speed all over the field. And
only one DB was mentioned. Warren Roberson might be able to find his way onto that list. But there's a number of guys that are in the 21s, maybe 21 and a half at safety at corner, but they're just not quite the burners that the receivers are.
Before we keep on going, got to show some love to our sponsor, and that is Andre the Lawyer.
This video is brought to you by Andre the Lawyer. If you're injured, trust the team that secured millions for their clients and helped thousands of Texans with their injury case. Car wrecks, slip and falls, 18-wheeler accidents, on-the-job injuries, and wrongful deaths. Don't let insurance tell you what your claim is worth. Hire Andre the Lawyer to fight for you. Principal office is in Dallas, but they serve Texans throughout the state. So don't wait and call Andre the Lawyer today at 214-444-8808. That's 214-444-8808. The contact information is in the description.
We'll keep on going with some more off-season workout information, and you had a tidbit on Inside Texas about Justus Terry, the highly ranked defensive tackle from Manchester, Georgia. Joined the Longhorns during their run to the college football playoff. Obviously couldn't play, got acclimated to what was going on within the program, and he's already shown some signs of physical development pretty quickly during his time on the 40 acres.
Yeah, I think there's been a lot of speculation on the internet of where he'll ultimately end up or what his role is going to be as a freshman. Early on when he arrived, we did hear that he could potentially play some jack or edge as a freshman. I don't think it's going to play out that way because I think he's going to keep putting on weight. I could see him at defensive end, similar to Vernon Broughton and Alfred Collins. We would see them out at 5 tech when they would go into base, but that's not exactly edge. I don't anticipate seeing him standing up, hovering over an offensive tackle. He's already up between 290, 295. That's going to be perfectly fine. I think he's going to weigh 300 pounds by the time August rolls around. Not worried about that. Over time, he's going to end up weighing 310 and keep his athleticism. So there's really no concerns with him. It's just, he's going to have to get stronger in his lower body and learn to play with good leverage and do all the other freshman stuff. But everybody's very excited about him, and he's going to carve out a role. We're not exactly sure what that is. Spring ball is going to highlight that for us. But he's definitely going to carve out a role, and he's on a good trend line as far as gaining weight.
I think because he really surged onto the Texas radar late. Obviously, Texas was recruiting him for a long time, but the reality of Texas' chances of landing him really bumped up in the last few weeks. It wasn't totally understood and known that he missed most, if not all, of his senior year. So there's a lot of opportunity here in these couple weeks before spring ball gets going to make up for some lost time for him with that physical development.
Yeah, absolutely. And he's going to get pushed like he's never been pushed before. Everybody talks about the transition in high school from high school competition to college competition. That competition extends to the weight room, the amount of weight that's being pushed around. He's no longer the biggest, strongest guy in the room. And so they're going to put him with somebody that's stronger than him, and then they're going to push each other because I guarantee that guy that's stronger than him isn't more talented than him. So they're going to push each other. And yeah, there's nothing to worry about. A lot of times fans are concerned about guys coming in light. A lot of times linebackers come in at 6'2", 200 pounds or whatever. Give him a year or two, and it's not a problem. Hell, if Maurice Blackwell can get up to 220 pounds, anybody can put on weight.
Should be fun to track him and a lot of these freshmen and the whole team over the course of the spring. Last thing, we'll go to the professional ranks really quickly. 3 Longhorns are playing in this Sunday's Super Bowl. The Chiefs have Xavier Worthy and Charles Omenihu. The Eagles have Moro Ojomo. Do you think we finally see the string of Super Bowls without a Longhorn scoring a touchdown end thanks to Xavier Worthy this Sunday?
Man, you would think this is about the best chance ever. He just came off of a strong game against the Bills. You got to like the chances for it, but watch it be Moro picks up a fumble and walks it in or something. That wouldn't be surprising. I'm really looking forward to the game. My favorite storyline is Charles missed the Super Bowl last year because he got hurt in the AFC Championship game, and so to me, there's a huge chance for him. He's become such a good pro. I've got such fond memories of his recruitment. I can remember going to his high school, sitting in the office when he was just a baby giraffe. Man, it's all limbs, He kind of didn't believe in himself early on. He was coming in that class with all these high 5 stars, and but that put a chip on his shoulder, and he's just been hungry ever since. And he still has that chip, and that's why he's become such a good pro. And then Moro, I'll tell you what's impressive about Moro. When they drafted him, I think it was in the 7th round. They had the best defensive line in football, and he still made that roster. And that tells you just a lot about Moro. Just a very interesting player, versatile, strong, very, very strong hands, very big hands. That's a grown man, even though he's still what is his age now? Is he still only like 23?
He can't be much older than that. So
yeah, it's insane. He's been in the league for a while. He's been out of Texas for a while, and look, he's 23. So he's still got a lot of football left of him. But yeah, it's going to be. I like that storyline. As somebody that doesn't follow the NFL like I used to, it's nice to have these college football storylines to follow as well.
With Omenihu and I think Moro Ojomo as well, it's one of those things where they're kind of overshadowed, and rightfully so. You got Chris Jones making a lot of plays on that defensive line for Kansas City. You got Jalen Carter and, like you mentioned, a few other really highly touted guys for the Eagles. But these guys make plays. Omenihu had a sack of C.J. Stroud in the divisional round. He had a tackle for loss against the Bills. And Ojomo, when Carter's not in, he's in. And you want Jalen Carter in the game as much as possible. But for that step down to be minimal thanks to Ojomo, it's important. And we'll see what they do with Worthy. Should be fun to track what he does. So do you have a pick either way?
I mean, you can't go against Mahomes winning it in the 4th quarter. I'm fine either way. I really don't like Philadelphia fans. I think they're every bit as bad as the stereotype. And so, and I like Pat. Pat, I think you can get fatigued from the superstars, but Pat was always a good dude in high school. I think he's still a good dude based on everything I can tell. And then, Charles just puts it over the top for me. I always have a soft spot for Charles. Worthy hosting that trophy would be quite the sight too. Him climbing the ladder last week or 2 weeks ago, we didn't see that. That was my critique. This guy can jump out of the gym, but we never see him go up and get the ball, and then he's making a huge play from going up and get the ball. So that was good to see too. Yeah, I'm actually rooting for the Chiefs, even though I hate the dynasties, even though they've knocked out the Niners twice in heartbreaking fashion. I like Pat and I like Charles.
Look at you rooting for Goliath.
I know it, man. But I don't care about the NFL all that much, so it's all right.
Sounds good. Thank you for watching Inside the Program on the Inside Texas Football YouTube channel. Make sure you like this video and give us a subscription. We'll keep it coming throughout, not just the weekend, but the entire offseason. And make sure you go to InsideTexas.com. We got those insider notes. We got details not just on the safety position coach opening, but also on all the off-season workouts and development. So make sure you head to InsideTexas.com. Eric, thank you so much. Thank you for watching. We'll see you next time on the Inside Texas Football YouTube channel powered by InsideTexas.com.